This build is absolutely perfect for early game domination, and if that sounds good to you, start off with the body trait of Keen-Sighted and Arcane Focus. Also keep in mind the physical forms don't matter because all the traits are spread across everybody. Also a quick note, if you want to try use Adaptable, it is perfectly fine because of how many units can evolve due to your summons. Speaking of units we can summon, every single thing we can see within the tier 1 and tier 2 are things in which we can summon. And as we can see, all the tier 1s can evolve into something higher, which means that it can be tier 2s, tier 3s, and tier 4s, just from leveling them up. And Krakens and all the spiders can also turn into tier 4 units. Now we're going to be taking Mystic, which will give us a significant boost to our research alongside of mana by picking up Ancestral Echoes, alongside this having Starblades for all of our units. Now I've been playing around with Mana Channelers alongside Mana Addicts. Mana Addicts is absolutely broken right now, and it is probably by far the strongest society trait. So we're going to select Mana Addicts alongside of Mana Channelers, as we'll be going to do a lot of summoning as part of this campaign. Now, pick a Tome of Beast. This is purely because of the Summon Wild Animal. In the early stages of the game, a lot of problems that I would normally face is a war of attrition. So if I were to fight something and we lose one unit, here this allows us to summon a ton of units that can also evolve. Now I'd massively suggest Wizard King here because of the fact that you get way more income of mana, which is a resource we're going to need, alongside getting additional world map casting points and combat casting points. The world map casting points will allow you to summon more things in one turn, so let's jump into it.
Look at this distinguished gentleman!
I'm also going to get Lightning Orb, as it'll give us additional value due to our Starblades. Each individual hit will gain the benefits of the Starblades. And for your first Arcane Research, make sure to pick up the Summon Wild Animal, as that's what your build revolves around. Also, the Evocator's Abode is a perfect thing to rush to begin with, as it gives you a bit of everything you need. I'm going to do this fight and give you a demonstration as to what makes this build so good. So let's go ahead and use this spell onto the front line here because of the weakness. But you can now see that I'm going to gain Starblades, but also Lifesteal. So this is where the fundamentals of this build really starts to shine. So for any combat spell, that is including your opposition, so if they cast something on their turn, all your units will gain lifesteal as part of them attacking you. And that means you will gain 10 hit points for every single hit. Say for example, you have a heavy charge unit, so they'll do one attack, they'll gain 5 hit points from that. If you have a unit that attack 3 times, let's say, they can heal up to 15 instead. So this will allow you to gain a significant amount of health per attacks, and it'll allow you to take more aggressive trades because you can trade evenly. You can trade more favorably because you're going to heal back some of that health. In your first couple levels up, what you want to make sure to do is grab yourself Starblades because we have the Lightning Orb for the multiple attack synergy. On top of that, make sure to go in Fire Evoker because we start off with the ability to do 50% additional magic damage. And Fire Evoker will definitely be the main catalyst here because a single Fire Evoker can heal 10 on every single unit that you hit, so you can effectively bring your main general from like 10 hit points all the way up to 60 relatively easily because of it. Also, in early casting reserves will really help you in your battles alongside of your summoning. So here's some of the main advantages when it comes to getting Fire Evocation and AoE spells in general, as this applies to every single unit that you can do AoE with. So let's go ahead and do Cosmic on this unit that has the weakness in front. And you can see now my general has 65 HP. Let's go ahead and do a Fire Evocation that we have in front of us, and we'll cast it on all 3 of these guys here. And you'll see that I'm now up to my maximum HP. I heal 25 because I'm healing 10 per hit here, which is what is coming through, and this is how I'm leveraging the Mana Addict, as it's very, very easy to give mages and units that have AoE inside of your armies a ton of healing. Now we've hit the jackpot of getting Summon Wild Animal, and since we've reduced the cost of it, the main factor here is that we have the world map casting points of 65, and it actually costs 60 here. So I can do it instantly, as you can see here, and I actually do not have enough movement to reach this unit here. As we can see, I arrive in 1 turn. So what I can do is you also utilize this Wild Summon spell to allow us to attack straight away. Alongside this one, we've just been given a tier 2 bar, so you can get any tier 1 unit, and there's a small chance of getting some tier 2s. And there's some really nice spiders in there that will do some nice AoE damage with their nets, also taking advantage of the 10 healing per unit that they hit. And they're truly making it easy for us. If only I had lower health, as Radagast right now would be healing 50 from this cast if I had the HP that needed to be healed. And here's another perfect example of the use of this is we're going to go ahead and attack this unit, and we're going to get a Retaliation hit. They're going to do the damage accordingly. I'm going to take 6 damage. But I'm going to do another 2 strikes, and so I've healed up all the damage which they just did to me, so give me a very favourable trade. And pretty much at all times, make sure that you have a summon wild animal in the casting in progress, as these units can also be placed on any square in which you currently know and can see on the map. This is why it's very crucial to have your scouting units running all over the place. Next up, we want to go Wild Speakers. If you've got Wild Speakers to begin with, just take Wild Speakers and then go into the summon. Just want to show this off. Turn 6, getting a Thunderbird mount. Pretty cool, after killing the camp here. I must admit, I think it's an awesome mechanic that you can get some random items, which will very much put a lot of variety and spice to every campaign that you do. Usually you want either the tier 3 elemental spawn or the tier 3 beast spawn, but the 2 options I usually take here is Mass Rejuvenation or Mana Unchained. I actually quite like Mana Unchained as it gives a flat 20% damage alongside of the full stack Star Blades, so we'll go Mana Unchained. Now for skills, what I like to do is go with Distant Evocation as it gives an additional range. Alongside that, it's an easy one for me. It's ignoring 2 status resistance, allowing us to do even more damage. I want to note that I've already gotten at turn 7 a tier 3 unit through the evolution of my units. You can get relatively lucky and get spiders, which can be evolved all the way up to tier 4s, but this is the kind of snowball you can expect with this build, just early on getting very powerful units for completely free. So now as we transition towards the late stages of the game, we're going to have Wild Expansion, which will effectively give us an animal under our control every single time we expand. And it is dependent on the province. So the terrain matters. Say, for example, if I were to do the fishery here, you'll see that I will obtain a tier 4 Kraken. So every single time with this expansion, you can gain tier 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. And it depends on the type of terrain as well. So this was just natural expansion of this area, and we got ourselves a tier 4 unit. So it is fantastic in the early to mid game, once you've unlocked it, to just bolster up your armies and make sure that you can easily obtain units. And from a totem side of things, make sure to start off with the likes of beasts into roots, and then you can go and continuously use the ones that have the nature affinity towards them. But thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoy utilizing this build, and if you do, let me know how it goes down in the comments down below. Thank you so much as always. Have a wonderful day, and make sure to check out my other content on the screen now.